day, one day we're going to get this together.
Well, we'll try this again. Welcome everybody to our Tuesday night training. We are so happy that y'all are able to join us. My name is Christina Landrum and I am a senior Ruby on your team. We also have Kim Jarjora with us tonight. She's a Ruby. And we have Michelle Fisher, who is senior Gold. Y'all, we are each going to do a little bit of training, but really Michelle's chunk is going to be a little bit bigger. She is talking about the importance of Facebook posting. And then Kim is going to touch on the importance of attending events, and I'm going to talk about the importance of being active on team pages. So we're so happy you're here tonight. So team pages are a wonderful tool, you guys. If you haven't been utilizing them, then we ask you to please do so. I still learn so much from the different team pages. You'll find different training videos. You will find different challenges that different teams are doing. You'll find contests, words of encouragement, things like that. You can use the magnifying glass on each team page. It's up in the top right-hand corner to search for any topic that you are trying to learn more about. And really that magnifying glass is going to be your best friend because that's going to stop you from wasting too much time on the team pages by scrolling and scrolling and scrolling. We want you guys to be active on our team pages. And what I mean by this is we want you to log on to the team pages at least once a day. Just to check out what's going on. We want you to know if we're doing any fun contests. We want you to see the training videos and things like that. But we don't want you guys, like I said before, we don't want you just scrolling and scrolling and scrolling because that's not an IPA. That's not income producing activity. So we do want you to feel free to post any questions or any trainings that you have found helpful and any words of encouragement. So our team page is your team page. The Passionately Pink team page is not my team page. It's there for everybody to use. Kim's team page is not her team page. Michelle's is not hers. It's for everybody to use and to utilize. And that's where we get the most benefit from it. So like I said, scrolling on Facebook is not an IPA. So that applies for team pages as well. I think if you guys were on the training last Wednesday, I talked about how when I first joined, I would spend hours and hours just reading things on team pages, trying to learn as much as I could. Well, you know what I wasn't doing? I wasn't growing my business. So, I mean, as much as it is important for you to learn about the products and everything, if you have spare time, watch a training video. You don't have to watch 4 hours of them. But spend the time reaching out to people and telling them about your business. Like I said, team pages are a wonderful, wonderful tool. We love it when we see you guys posting on there. We love it when you ask us questions and you post little encouraging blurbs and things like that. That's what I love to get on my team page and see somebody else utilizing it besides me. And so I just really wanted to let y'all know that it's an open forum for everybody, and feel free to post away. We're here to help you, and that's pretty much it. My little segment's really short. Utilize the team page. Don't waste your time on it.
All right. Thank you, Christina. That was amazing. The only other thing I would add to that is, you guys, when someone adds a new ambassador or they accomplish a goal and somebody congratulates them, just give them a thumbs up or say congratulations or welcome to the team. That really goes a long way. And as you build your team, you will see that that will mean a lot to you when you are the one being congratulated or you are adding someone. So
yes, Kim. Yeah, thank you for that. I should have said that. Thank you.
Okay, so I'm going to move on, and I'm going to talk about the importance of events. So when I first started, I heard the term leaders are born at events. And I was like, okay, well, I don't know what they're talking about. But I will tell you, 2 months before I signed up with Plexus, I went to an opportunity meeting that Stephanie invited me to. Actually, that was the first time I met Christina. And it was one, Melissa did one almost every month. It was called an Opportunity of a Lifetime meeting. And if you've never been to one that Melissa hosted, they are just amazing. And you will walk out of there with your belief just overflowing. But I left that meeting and I already knew I liked the products, but there was something about the community in that meeting and just the feeling and the stories that I heard and that made me think, I think this might be something that I want to be a part of. And so I think it was like 6 weeks later, that is when I signed up. But that meeting really helped me. So if there's anything near you, I really suggest that you go. And there's really 3 main reasons that I would say that it is important to go to attend meetings or attend events. First of all, it's going to build your belief. There are so many people out there that have incredible testimonies that you may not have heard, and maybe you don't even realize that Plexus would help with that. And people are so, when you see them speak in person, you can feel their body language, you can see their passion, their excitement, and you know that they are up there speaking from their heart because something within Plexus has impacted them, whether or not it was the products that impacted their health or it was the business that impacted their finances. So going to an event is going to really increase your belief in the products, in the process, in the business, and in the company. So first of all, that is number 1. Number 2, it helps you connect with like-minded people. You're going to meet people at those events that have the same goals that you do. You are going to, you're going to connect with some more than others, but the ones that you connect with, you know, you can send them a friend request on Facebook. I always suggest when you go to an event, if you do have business cards, to take a few with you. It's a really quick, easy way if you do connect with somebody to just hand them a business card and say, hey, add me on Facebook. I would love to, be friends with you. Because guys, even though we're all on the same team, there are people on other teams that will really bring value to your life and to your business, because we all have different ideas. So be sure to try to connect with people, and going to those meetings will definitely give you that sense of community and that sense of connection with like-minded people. So another reason that you would want to go to events is because most of them are set up to where you can invite your prospects. You can invite your friends. And when you invite your friends and they attend, I usually try to make it fun and maybe invite them out to dinner or coffee or something before the meeting and kind of give them a heads up of what it's about, and then, take them into it. But what they're going to see is they're going to see other people's passions and their excitement and their enthusiasm about the whole process. And it's pretty much what it is third-party validation. You've been telling them about it, but now here's this room full of people that also are saying the same thing that we were telling them. So it builds belief in them, and it is more apt for them to either join or purchase the products. So, okay, lastly, it is to learn and grow in your knowledge base. You will, every time I go to a meeting, I take a notepad, which I'm a huge note taker. I have stacks and stacks of notebooks, but I think it's really, really important to take notes, because somebody may say something that will trigger something in your mind and go, you know what, I know so-and-so that could really use that. I know somebody else that has that problem. Maybe this could help them. So I would just suggest it, to maybe take some notes, because it is definitely going to help you understand more about what's going on. Your knowledge will grow, and along with your knowledge, belief, and passion, your business is going to naturally grow because of events. Okay, so right now coming up, there is an opportunity of a lifetime tour going on that is company sponsored, and one may not be coming to your town, but I guarantee you there's one coming within 100 or 200 miles from you. And you guys, I know that sounds like a sacrifice, but it is so worth it. If you could load your car up with friends, with fellow team members, and get to these events, they are just amazing. And usually our CEO or our president is helping host that, along with Two Diamonds. and they are just amazing. And I know if for those of you who are local to us, there's one coming to Houston on the 28th, and I believe in San Antonio on the 27th, if I've got those dates correct. I think so. But they're all over the United States, so look into those. If somebody in your city or in your town is hosting an opportunity meeting that may not be corporate sponsored, still go. Even if they're not on your team, go to one, because same thing. It's going to like pump you up. I leave those things like so fired up. There's Super Saturday that's in January. That one just passed. We have a convention. Oh, heck, convention in Vegas that is coming up. And I know that it's hard for some of you to get there. You have obligations. It's the end of the school year. But if you are really, really serious about your business, and you can any way at all swing it, I would suggest trying to get to convention. There are a few tickets left. So, and anybody can go to convention. But then next there's Leaders Retreat, and Leaders Retreat is so amazing, but it's much smaller, and it is kind of like a spinoff of convention, but it's for leaders. It's to teach you how to lead your team, and you have to earn your way to get there, but that is definitely one worth going to as well. I would also suggest, if there's not any of these meetings around you, to host a launch party or a sip and see in your home. And if your upline is anywhere nearby, I'm sure they would be happy to help you. I'm so sorry, guys. So anyway, I think that's about all I've got. But then, except for that ultimate meeting that we all want to be at, and that's the one in Maui as Emeralds. So yeah. So that's the ultimate meeting that we all want to attend. So I think that's all I got, guys. Thanks so much. All right, Michelle.
All right. Okay. So one thing I just wanted to touch on is Silence had asked in the chat, I don't know how many of you keep up with it, but about the different team pages that are available. There is actually a large, I'm saying large, team page under Celeste and Jen Hawkins, and that is called Destination Diamond Dream Team. That one is loaded with great stuff. And, you know, if you're not in it and you want to be one of your friends that's in it or whatever, they can add you. And then when we come down from there, that's Melissa's kind of the next team page. There may be others I don't even know about, but Melissa has her team page, Team Eichenhorst. And then underneath there is where we hit the Passionately Pink level. And that is actually kind of like co-managed between Christina, Stephanie, and Crystal. Am I right? Okay, just want to make sure. That's how they kind of started that. And then kind of underneath that, I think we branched off a little bit. When I started, we were encouraged actually to create our own team page of 3, like even when we had 1, 2, or 3 ambassadors, that was kind of where we were at. But then over time, I think the realization hit that if we all did that, we'd be in like 15 different like team pages over time. And that's just a lot. I mean, we all know that it's sometimes hard to keep up with 2 or 3. So I did have one, and I decided to keep it, and I know Kim did the same, and she decided to keep it. And I kind of have a few ambassadors that are like my running mates a little bit, and they're helping me out, and Kim's doing the same too. So, you know, if you really feel like you're a leader and you want to jump in one of our pages, feel free to offer, because I'm always open for more help. So before I waste too much more time, I'm going to jump in right here and see if I can hit everything, but it's a lot of stuff. So when I started Plexus, actually, we literally had to do everything the hard way. You guys, y'all are lucky that have just recently signed up within the last probably 6 months to a year, because like Facebook was not even user friendly at all. So we have so many awesome things that have come through over time. It's been neat to watch it change and transform, and in a sense really become network marketing friendly. So one of the things I like to start when I talk about this stuff is how much belief is so important. You want to be able to keep your fire going and keep the fire in your teammates going. And it's so easy to let it fade and let it be doused out by whatever it might be. So just, I can't encourage you enough to really just work with that and keep going and find, as I mentioned, a running mate or someone, and that's often brought up, to get a running buddy, as they call it, to really just help you and to work alongside you. Doesn't even have to be on your team necessarily. But I know that, that is huge. So one of the biggest things I learned, of course, over time was being strategic and using Facebook for, effective usage and not just throwing Plexus out there and annoying all your friends. Because I've had a couple of ambassadors who do that. They signed up, they throw out ad after ad after ad after ad, and their friends are like, what the heck are you doing? It's annoying. Stop, and then they get blocked, and then they complain that they don't have any friends. And it's a vicious cycle. So if you're doing that, I hope you're not, because I think we've all learned that, and we've all been trying to really teach our teammates not to do that. But if you are, this is all for you. One of the first things I really like to talk about is how Facebook is not the place to air out your dirty laundry. Your attitude about life, about people, about everything is out there for the world to see. And if you are a negative person, if you are complaining about things, if you're just, I don't even know. To me, it's about language too. I don't use curse words ever. So that says a lot about your character. I laugh when I see those things go around that say that people who curse a lot are smarter, because I'm like, I guess that means I'm pretty dumb. But yeah, it is not the place to just air out all that stuff. Keep whatever is on Facebook something that you want people to see and want people to be attracted to you for. And you'll hear the term attraction marketing. And that's really what this is. Be attractive to people. Find out what people like about you and find a way to use that in your favor. And that actually leads me into, I'm probably going to bounce around my notes a little bit, but leads me into talking about branding yourself. When we talk about branding yourself, there's a lot of good videos out there that I've watched that are talking about what is a brand and how do we do that. And really it's finding something that you're really interested in, whether it be a hobby, just something you're really passionate about. I mean, we all are passionate about Plexus, of course, but we need something beyond that. So a good example is Dee Dee. She totally hit hard her marathon running and her just getting in shape. And you're my idol, because I would love to do that too. But one for me is I really, sometimes I'll work a little bit of my horse crowd friends. So I'll share a lot about horse things, or I don't do that very often, but lately it's been a mom thing. I find mom groups and I find new mom friends, and being a mom of 4, I have a lot of education. I feel knowledge on natural delivery now that I had 1 natural and 3 that weren't. And so I can really bounce off ideas off of moms. And so that's something that works for me, but find something that works for you. To brand yourself, because that's how you're going to attract people to you too. I hate this part. I'm really bad at keeping organized. The next one would be about engaging both your Plexus audience and your non-Plexus audience. So using, again, just like the branding yourself, find ways to make 1 or 2 posts a day about something not related to Plexus. And you'll hear it said all the time, make 1 to 3 posts a day. Make 3. 2 to 5 is a good number. So those 3, if you're going to follow the 3 rule, make 1 about yourself, a personal post, 1 a call to action post, and then 1, it's bad, I should know this, and it's totally not, the pressure is on. Oh my goodness. Anyway, those 3, 1 call to action, 1 personal, and 1 Plexus, duh. That was really bad. How dumb am I? But use those 3 as kind of a way to work it. And one thing I will tell you is I noticed, and I've seen this happen to me, if let's say I just made a Plexus post and maybe 10 minutes later I found something really fun I wanted to share, a picture or whatever, the timing is bad. Don't share it within 10 minutes, because you want people to be attracted to that Plexus post for at least a couple hours and not be, and that's the way how Facebook works. If we share that personal post 10 minutes later after our Plexus post, often we're getting the comments on our personal post, and then that Plexus post kind of gets pushed out to the side and forgotten. So space them out throughout the day. I try to always do one about the morning and mid-morning, and then afternoon, and then later in the evening. Or I'll do my personal one before my Plexus one, in that sense, just so that I know that hopefully that Plexus one is going to get the traffic a little bit more. So along with engaging those non-Plexus people is just to yeah, and non-Plexus and Plexus. There's too much going on in my head. It's a bad place to be sometimes. I was thinking about the 4-color personalities and how you want to use your post to attract the different 4-color the different personalities. So you've got the social people who really are into just friendships and one day share about how awesome this friendship is that you've developed. I mean, like if I wouldn't have been part of Plexus, I wouldn't know, well, any of you pretty much. And I mean, I definitely wouldn't have all these amazing friends from like down there in Texas, because that's really far away. And I'm like been to Texas once in my life. Talk about the advantages of the compensation plan and the events that Kim was talking about, how, you know, I qualified for Leaders Retreat 2 years in a row now. So I've been able to like get a free hotel stay, and how cool is that? And I share that actually a lot. That's really sometimes a really good, just kind of an attraction thing for people when it's a good way to break the ice and talk about Plexus a little bit. So I'll move on here a little bit, and hopefully I don't jump around too much, but I tend to sometimes be like that. Oh, look at that. That's where that was. One thing that I like to tell my team is when you share personal testimonies, so we're going to jump into a little bit about like the different techniques in sharing. When you share a personal testimony from a friend, so let's just say Crystal has or Christina, Crystal, doesn't matter which one, has a really awesome post that they made about, you know, their love of Edge. I don't even know, that's a random one I could think of, but or the other day, Kathy had an awesome one, and she's talking about how she was melting, and I'm like, this is so exciting, but she tagged me in it, because you know what's so cool about that? She's not only reaching her friends, but she's reaching my friends, and that way, her friends can also look at her and be like, wow, she tagged this girl. I'm going to check these people out. Well, then Kathy's not the only crazy Plexus lady, because she's got all these people who do Plexus too, and I didn't even know about them. So it makes us look less crazy when we have people who are kind of united with us and we're tagging those people. So if I have a really exciting one that I want to share, I'll tag my friends in it, just because I'm like, guys, you got to see this. And it reaches out to your friends if I tag you. Along with that concept of personal testimonies is sharing stories. So the stories are what really get people. And hopefully someday you all can like take some time to listen to Carrie Wilkerson, she's speaking at a convention. She's amazing. Had some great stuff to say about the stories and the storytelling. And that's what gets people's attention. They don't always want to hear facts and information about our products right away. And actually I had a friend who had asked me, she did a vendor show with me one time, and she was so worried about having the answers to everything as far as like products and ingredients. And I was like, really? People don't ask that stuff at vendor shows. You might get one in like 30 that might actually know something, but generally they just want to hear what your experience is. So moving on, I did a really bad job at like correlating these and actually not feeling like I was jumping around. If you also kind of along that lines, if you have good success from a customer, and these are the ones I really absolutely love, when I have a customer who messages me and says, you know, I just feel so good, you know, last week, or I've been 2 weeks in and I'm down 2 inches. They send that. I'll ask them, first of all, if I can share that anonymously. I won't even tag them or anything unless they want me to. But I'll ask them, and then I'll share again. I'll share those other crazy Plexus friends I have, because that's my successful customer. And, you know, we all know that you guys have customers, potential customers watching. So those are just really great. And those are the personal ones that I like to use to kind of connect us all in one way or another. And then to bounce off of that, make sure you're commenting on each other's stuff. Comment and like, because that, again, is what's going to get people's attention. So if I have a post about, you know, my pregnancy that I went through, and I just loved how much Plexus benefited me. But I have this friend who's really skeptical, and she's like, I don't know if I really want to try this. But like 13 other people jump on and they're like, oh my gosh, yes, I loved it. You know, this and that, and this helped me. And well, that friend that's really skeptical, she's probably going to be a little bit more likely to be like, okay, maybe I can do this. So it's that support that we need from one another, and it can really help just to build the belief in our customers. And it's really just helps boost our own morale a little bit and our comfort level, because we've got that system of support to back us up. So another thing along with posting is we often discuss this within my team. And when I look at my team, and some of us have 60 plus mutual friends, you want to try not to, and I'll finish my sentence first, but try not to share the exact same post the exact same day, especially 10 minutes apart. Because it looks very automatic. It looks like we're kind of, again, being sort of spammy. We're not original. So if you don't know, I'm jumping ahead again in my notes, but if you don't know how to save a post for future use, again, that is probably one of the best things that Facebook has done for us, is allowed us to save posts in a little like section of just save stuff and to be able to pull them up later. I do that all the time. So when I see something really awesome, I save it. Used to have to screenshot everything, and then I'd go back to so-and-so's wall and be like, oh, that's the one I want to copy and paste. But now I can save it, so it's great. But don't share those same posts in the same day. Try not to anyway, especially if you have mutual friends. Now there's an example. I have an ambassador in Australia. We don't have a single mutual friend unless they're already in Plexus. So she's okay. I'm like, I don't care what you share today, because obviously we don't have all these mutual friends. But it just looks, again, it looks more original, like we're actually working and not just copying and pasting from each other. And what I was going to say is I just read in a thread somewhere about a lot of It Works people and how they were saying that the It Works girls, like they basically do, they copy and paste is what they look like. And oftentimes I think that's true for their posting that they do. Kind of, I feel like they're very much the same all the time. All right, so Facebook also tracks the friends you interact with the most. And I can tell you this is so true. I have almost 2,000 friends, and I can tell you that there's a lot of kids from high school, people from high school, I don't even see on my newsfeed anymore because they've been bumped up by the recent friends I've added, or the more recent ones I communicate with, and different things. So go through your friends list every once in a while and try to revisit some of them. I mean, I struggle because I'm like, how do I get through 2,000 friends? I don't even know. Like, I can't ever get past the 500 mark probably, and I get interrupted by a kid. But try to do that. And that's where keeping track of lists is really, really important. And I'm learning that now because we've been challenged to do another list of 63. Well, we just did one a couple weeks ago. We did the March into Momentum with the 200 contacts. And I've been able to take all those lists I've had and almost make my new list of 63 again. So maybe, hopefully, they might not get annoyed that I message them again. Or I just failed at following through with the 63 before. But we all, life gets the best of us sometimes, especially when you have 4 kids. So the other one, along with this idea of having friends, is definitely don't be afraid to add Plexus people. I know I hear a lot of times, well, then that's all I see on my feed. And, but you need those Plexus friends to, again, kind of be that support system. And if I didn't have them, again, I probably wouldn't know Christina and Nir as well as I do, and Kim and Stephanie. And hopefully I get to meet a lot of you and talk to you more. But it's so important to have that. I was just having this conversation with one of my ambassadors last night, and that she was worried again. She's like, well, that's all I see on my newsfeed. But I'm like, you know what? Maybe you need to see it too. Maybe you need to see those to share them, or you just need to learn something. Because when you're new, some of those posts that come through are very educational. Just like those team pages. I love that resource for education because there's so much knowledge in those team pages. It's like unreal. I think I did that. Something else I want to kind of talk, and this isn't really Facebook, I mean, it is Facebook related, but if you are one that really struggles with consistency posting daily, there are a few auto posting apps. They're called, I don't know what they're really called, but there's 3 that I've used in the past. Buffer is one, Hootsuite is one, and Tiny Torch is another. Basically, you can go through all those save posts you have. I literally will do this sometimes in the morning. It's been a while, but I would say, and if I'd woke up 10 minutes, 15 minutes early, I would just copy and paste posts, and I'd put them into my Buffer app. Actually, I use Hootsuite now, but I would put them into that app, and it just auto schedules them. So I could schedule a whole month in advance if I wanted to of Plexus posts, and that's just one less thing I have to do every day. And again, like anything for me, if it's one less, is amazing. So those really helped me to just kind of be consistent and get my posts out there. And I will tell you one thing, that recently I kind of got a little lax on my everyday Plexus thing. And I was kind of in that like, well, people probably want to take a break, whatever. So I wasn't as diligent about sharing Plexus daily. Maybe I was more avoiding using Plexus words because, again, I'm trying to educate people on gut health and proper digestion, all those things. So if I don't use the Plexus words, it's not as preachy maybe. But now that I'm starting to do it again, people are coming out of the woodwork. Like, you wouldn't even believe it. And it's people that maybe I talked to 2 years ago, and they're still coming out of the woodwork. And that's one thing to like tell you, if you're not having instant success, just push through, because there will be. And again, I'm almost going on 3 years, and people are still coming out of the woodwork. It's crazy. We already touched on this, but my next thing was about team pages and searching. Again, like, I can't even tell you how easy it is to search. I used to have to do everything from my laptop when I started this. Like, I couldn't do anything on my phone. It was horrible. When a potential asks me about something and I'm not sure what the answer is, first thing I do now is I just type in a general Facebook search. I don't even go to a team page necessarily unless I feel like it's hard for me to get a good answer by doing a general search. So I'll go to the top search bar on Facebook and I'll type in Plexus and migraines, or X factor and whatever it might be, just keywords. Just type in the keywords, nothing real detailed, just keep it simple. And I mean, now you can go from posts to like the latest posts to the most popular ones to groups to, everything. Like, it gives you everything. So it's great. So that one is like hugely beneficial in just education. And something I just wanted to touch on a little bit, because I've been kind of working in Facebook groups a little bit more lately, and more so practicing being intentional in making friends, not necessarily with the whole end goal. I mean, obviously the end goal in mind is to kind of reach out to them and share Plexus, but I don't want them to ever think that that's initially my intentions. So become like, build your relationship with them. Messenger also now has a really awesome feature that you can actually, to me, I find this really awesome. So the other week, someone in one of my groups I was in did one of those, what do y'all do to make money from home or to work from home and stay with your kids? So I, of course, I'm like stalking everybody's answers and, like, who wants to learn more and who wants this. And I commented on a few. And often what I would do is I would press the like button, and then I would go to Messenger and I add them to Messenger now. And I don't know if everybody's phone has this yet, but it's been a fairly recent update. So when I add that person to Messenger, it dings on their end and it says, you have this person who added you to Messenger. And then when they add me back, it dings again. So now we're both connected, where it used to be that whole, like, you had to go to that like crazy lost folder that nobody could ever find and look for that person or whatever. And now most of the time, I mean, there's that's still there, message requests, because I get them here and there. But this whole add people to Messenger is kind of a way to initiate a contact without sending them a friend request right away. And for some people, they worry about maybe the privacy of adding people they don't know. So this, I feel like, is a good way to add someone without necessarily feeling like right away, getting to know them before you're like, oh, do I want to add them as a friend or not? That's something I just do. And it was an interesting conversation. Taylor had asked a week ago or so ago, I don't know if you guys all saw that, but she said all the diamonds have their profiles completely public. And that's just something that I'm kind of like, I don't know how I feel about that completely, but obviously take it at your level and do with it where you feel comfortable right now. And, that could change over time. So I only have a couple more, so I'll try to make this quick. Oh, this is huge. I actually wrote it down. Something is huge here with big capital letters, but so many people, of course, with Plexus being a networking social media, like business tool, are being added and getting added to groups constantly. And it's like enough to give people like crazy, like whatever. It drives me crazy. It may not drive everybody else crazy, but I guess it's just because I don't want to buy LuLaRoe leggings like every day. So anyway, I always ask for permission, of course, to add someone to a group. I actually manage a group and a page. I did both. I kind of, sometimes I really like don't post in there for like 2 weeks and then I'll get back on it and then whatever. But more importantly, my group actually is kind of like a testimony group in a sense, but I just post educational information in there every once in a while. And I have anybody who's in it can add their friends to it too. Very much like using it as a testimony group. So, if that's something that you may want to try doing, that's great. I have a lot of team members who have their own groups like that. But what's important there is the growth. You need to keep adding people because if it is a private group, people aren't just going to find it randomly. So most importantly is just kind of use common sense maybe when you're reaching out to people and adding them to groups, because that, again, those get, I think, really overwhelmingly annoying. When I just went through the other, I think it was last week, and left probably about 50 groups. And I leave them pretty frequently when I get added, like instantly, leave all the time. Okay. This was an older one, but I feel this is good too. And again, since Facebook has changed, I don't use this as much, but something to kind of point out, and this was, I forget when I learned this, but someone else brought this to my attention, that when you're in Facebook at the up where we would go to log off, there's actually a drop-down menu that says activity log that you can go in, and it might even be on your left side of your wall too, but that you can go in and look at all the things that you've liked, commented on. And I know for me, sometimes I'll like someone's post and then later I'll think of it and I was like, oh yeah, who was that? So I go to my activity log and I can look that up, and it's a little bit easier than trying to go through the 1,000 friends I think I saw that day. So I find it helpful. Yeah. If I have a testimony that I forgot to save or something and I want to share that. And you just kind of learn through Facebook what helps you and what doesn't. And there's just a lot of ins and outs to kind of learning. Yeah, and the last one, I'll just end there because that one wasn't near as important either. It was old too. It was how I actually mentioned how I used to take screenshots all the time of everything, and then my screenshot folder was so full. But I don't do that near as much anymore for work purposes. I still take a lot of screenshots, but that's for other reasons. So if anyone has any questions, please unmute yourself, and I will totally answer them. If you don't mind, I might jump in here real fast though, because someone actually had asked me just before we jumped on here, and I didn't answer a question because I was in training mode, about your first Facebook post. So how do you go about doing that? There's obviously so many ways to look at it, and you can think, okay, what is my goal here? Why did I sign up as an ambassador? So when I started, I hadn't tasted a Slim drink. I had no friends besides this one girl in Texas who I didn't even personally know. I knew her husband, but she shared her amazing journey, and I was like, I want this. And it sounded simple. And I could eat food. So that was my 3 reasons. I was ready to lose weight. I could eat food. And I shared that. Literally, I probably did. I don't know what my first post was, but I probably said that. I was like, I'm really excited to share this, and I want people to join me. And I've seen some really great things and testimonies and read people's stories. And that's what's motivated me to give this a shot, because I believe it's possible that it can be really amazing. So again, I think just go through what are your goals, what are your intentions, and kind of go there. If you, more importantly, focus on the idea of the stories, and kind of sharing what other people might be attracted to you, if that makes sense. I think I'll just leave it at that. So again, if you have questions, I love questions. Unless everybody's good.
All right, guys, is everybody good? Nobody has any questions? Thank you so much, Michelle. That was great, as usual.
No problem.
Anyway, I don't know if I heard you around to get water, but one of the main things on Facebook to me is to not share somebody's post. Copy and paste it if you must, and tweak it a little bit, but never share it, because nobody's going to see it except your mutual friends. So I still see people sharing my posts, and I try to send them a message and go, you know what, guys, you get absolutely no good by doing that. So don't share posts, guys. Does anybody else have any questions?
Real quick, too, I'll add to that, though. It's definitely be real, but not, how do I put it? Not too real. You know, like not too real that it's going to be like, you know, making somebody question maybe your intentions or whatever it may be. Trying to think out how I can word that without making it sound weird, but hopefully that makes sense. Yeah. Be genuine and be real.
Right.
Without revealing too much. I don't know.
I mean, you can copy and paste a post and then change it up to make it sound like you wrote it.
Right.
So you can take the general idea of it, but then put it in your own words and make it fit your personality, because we all have different personalities, and a lot of times you can tell whether somebody wrote that post or not.
Right.
So I think that's another.
I do that, and I encourage that all the time, even if it's just add a sentence that's original from you at the beginning, at the end, somewhere in the middle, you know, like it doesn't matter, as long as there's something in there that makes it come from you a little bit more.
Well, like you said earlier, like you don't say y'all.
Yeah.
And we say y'all. And if
Right.
Michelle copies one of us and it says y'all, they're going to be like, what happened to
Sadly,
me?
I say it more now than ever in my life, but I don't say
I was just going to say that, Michelle. It's like from hearing you
so much
guys
easier to
say it all the time, I start thinking it. And it starts coming out. And it's like,
But yeah,
wait.
not in public.
Silence, did you have a question?
Yeah, I do. Is there any way, like, I could get one of y'all to go, like, through my Facebook and see if there's anything that, like, I'm doing wrong or right? Y'all could give me, like, tips or whatnot, or is that, like, a little too much there?
Definitely not.
Now, I can tell you that I follow you, and I think you post wonderfully. I really do. And I think that it's obvious that Dee Dee has taught you, because Dee Dee has amazing posts.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yes, she does, by the way. Like, she rocks it.
yes, Dee Dee has amazing posts and a lot of call to action. So, Silas, I think you're good, because I've been watching yours.
Okay.
One of the other things I really want to touch on, and I probably talk about this a lot because it's so forgotten so easily, but is the compliance issue. You know, and a lot of the times I will like message someone and I'll say, hey, just want to let you know that's not compliant. And they're like, oh, wow, I just copied and pasted it from somebody else. And I was like, but that doesn't mean anything. There's posts that are floating around from 3 years ago. This graphic that I've seen today was literally from probably 2.5 years ago. So you can't just assume that it is compliant because someone else copied and pasted it. And sadly, like, I don't want to say sadly, but I've even seen where people are, oh, well, the Jules posted it, so it should be fine. But they even slip up. They're not perfect. But that's where if someone does call you out and say, hey, you know, like you should probably change the wording there, don't be offended. Like, we're just trying to help each other out. And I know for me, like this team member, when I said something to her, she was like, wow, I had no idea. So I sent her that long, boring video on I think on YouTube, I found it, about compliance. And that guy just stands there and he talks all the time. It's really boring, but it's so important that we are. And Kim mentioned last week how I got my hand slapped, you said, on Instagram, because I had about 4 posts that were technically not compliant. And in my head, I was like, why? I'm just speaking what's like me. It was about me. I'm healthy. I don't get sick anymore. But I can't say that. And it sucks. But yeah, like compliance is a big one. And if you ever have questions about a post, like I'm more than happy to look at it and check it out. And again, like I said, don't be afraid to message a friend and just be like, hey, I'm not, you know, are you sure that is okay? You know, and I even go through my memories on this days, and I'll go through, and if there's something that I find is not compliant, I make sure I delete it, because I don't want that to pop up in Plexus, you know, when they're checking us out. And make me look bad. And I'll tell you the Instagram thing, I didn't delete the one immediately. And she emailed me 2 or 3 times, and she said finally the third one and I corresponded back because I wanted to educate it on it. And the third time she said, you know, I noticed you still didn't delete it, and if you don't, you will be suspended. Like your account will be suspended. And I was like, holy cow, like that was scary. Like, please don't do that ever again. So, but yeah, I approached it not in an angry manner at all. I just wrote her back and I was like, you know, can you just tell me why I can't do this? You know, And a lot of the times I kind of say, when you, let's say you're making a post about Candida yeast, and you want to talk about it, maybe just don't use any Plexus words. Technically, it's compliant if you're not associating it to Plexus at all. But this lady was like, but that's what your page is used for. So indirectly, you know, it is still not compliant, because if my Facebook page is Plexus, and I talk about Candida yeast, like, you know, it's an automatic link basically. Do I still do it? Yes, because I think education is so important in teaching people about leaky gut and Candida and all that awesome stuff. Well, not so awesome stuff, but yeah, it's just a big topic, and we all still learn. I mean, there's still times where my one friend, she messages me and she's like, Michelle, check that out, because your words, and again, it's probably because I copied it and I didn't read the entire thing. I just read the first couple sentences. I'm like, hey, that rocks. I'm going to share that. So yeah, don't ever be offended if someone contacts you about that. Alrighty. If everyone's good, doesn't have any questions, we may as well.
All right. Thank you, everybody, for getting on, and we will see you next week. I don't even know what the topic is next week. What is it, Christina?
It's actually an open week, because our trainer for next week has a family obligation. So we are going to put something in there. We just don't have a topic yet. We will be on next week. We just don't know what.
Okay.
I will let y'all know ASAP. All right.
All right.
Good.
Thank y'all
Okay,
for
guys.
everything. Thank you for logging on. Have a good night.
Night.
Bye.
Bye.